Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to Trailmakers, and today we're going to be revisiting an idea that I've done a long time ago a few times, in which we create a vehicle that transforms from a large version to a tiny version by essentially destroying itself into a bunch of tiny little pieces. Now, this was the last one that I did, which was obviously a plane destroying itself into a smaller plane. But I've also done a car destroying itself into a smaller car, and for some reason, I never went further than that. I just did a plane and a car, and I think today, I was looking through my old videos. You guys seem to really like these videos, and I don't know why I never continued with the concept. So today, we're going to adapt this concept to a hovercraft, and I'm actually on Race Island because I thought it would be fun to do the hovercraft race with this thing. And we can see what kind of time variance we have between our large version and our small version. So the concept is pretty fun. We actually get to use the detach feature, and we detach and turn everything into scrap to reveal the smaller version of itself. And adapting this to hovercrafts, I think should be pretty straightforward. And like I did with the previous vehicles, we're gonna start by building the tiny little hovercraft first. And once we get this working, then we have to build a bigger hovercraft around it. And I want them both to look cool on their own as well. So let's see what I can make out of this tiny one. I have to keep in mind that anything I build on this has to be contained within something else, but obviously it also has to be functional too. Now, the tough thing about hovercrafts is always the propulsion. You can't use engines, you don't have any wheels attached to the ground, they tend to be really floaty unless you can use aerodynamics to kind of give yourself more of a driving feel rather than just a slippery hover feel. And unfortunately, these hover pads do not have any attachment points on top. All right, this thing's slowly starting to take up a bigger and bigger footprint as I realize what I need to add on to it to make it functional. So right now I'm trying to figure out how am I gonna make it steer? I need this thing to be able to steer, and I think I'm gonna use aerodynamic and thruster assisted steering for this. All right, I might have a prototype here. Let's check our aerodynamics. They're probably not gonna, okay, hold on. This is not the finished prototype. Hold on, we need to take care of some of these aerodynamic issues here. All right, we got that. Not much I can do about these. Oh no, there is. I can move those back. Here we go. All about optimizing here. Okay, apparently I need to move these out to the side a little bit. Look at that. This isn't bad. This isn't, no, okay, that's bad in the front. Okay, in that case, we're doing this. But now there's an issue right here too. Oh boy. Sometimes it just feels never ending with these things. If you've only ever watched Trailmakers and you actually haven't played Trailmakers, then it's important to note that aerodynamics makes a massive difference in your potential speed. All right, there we go. I think I've done a pretty good job at getting rid of anything that wasn't a green arrow. So let's see if this thing even works. So steering, I'm gonna make a little bit less so that those don't hit. But here we go so far. Okay, wow, this is way faster than I thought it was going to be. All right, hold on. All right, let's turn the angle down to like 20. Let's just do a straight 20 degrees. There we go, that's good. I'm gonna need to take these front fins off, and that is because I need the back to have more drag than the front. All right, because I want this thing to naturally orient. Oh boy, wow, that changed a lot. It doesn't turn nearly as sharp now, so that was actually... Oh no, wait, maybe it is fine. All right, let's just get over the water where it's nice and flat. Okay. So see, it does this wobble. I don't like this wobble. Okay, I think it's gonna need... Yeah, I think I'm gonna need to put those back. All right, slow down. It doesn't have any brakes. So now the only issue with this is it doesn't want to stay straight because it has an equal amount of drag on the front as it does on the side. So if you start turning a little bit, it wants to catch the wind, and then that happens. So a potential solution to that, adding a few extra fins right on the back here. All right, how does this feel now? Oh man. Okay. I mean, it definitely stays straighter now. Whoa, man, what does it do there? You know what? I should get rid of the seat controls, maybe. All right, let's go ahead and disable air control. This thing really does not like to turn sharp. It just carves right into the water. You know what? Maybe it needs to hover less high. All right, I'm gonna put the distance of the hover pads down to half, and we're gonna see if that stabilizes it all over the water as it turns. I don't know. I don't think it makes that much of a difference. Maybe just a little bit. Yeah, oh, it does make a difference. This is actually way more stable. All right, that's the setting. That's the setting that we need. We need it to be closer to the water. Which also means it's going to be closer to the land, but the hover pad should be a little bit more strong at its lower setting. All right, I think this is feeling good for a tiny hovercraft, or at least as small as I felt like I can make it while still being functional and drivable. All right, I think this is the final form here. Just for some aesthetics and extra stability, I added some wings in the middle. I think they actually look kind of cool. It fills in that empty space. And now, before we build the bigger version, let's take this thing on the hovercraft race and see what it's capable of. All right, here we go. I'm just gonna open throttle it the whole way. Nothing can go wrong with that, right? Ugh, the steering is still sketchy. Oh no, oh no. Why is the terrain bumpy on a hovercraft course? It's a hovercraft. Okay, here we go. What's with these arrows? Okay, I gotta go this way. I gotta go this way. Oh man, I feel like I'm about to fly. Oh no! Survive! Okay, I'm still alive. This is fine. This is an intense course. I don't like the uneven terrain. Okay, this is the end. Whoa! Perfect. Okay, so our time is 43 seconds. Better than 90% of other players. Impressive for this thing I just threw together in like 12 minutes. So I have no doubt that the bigger version of it's probably going to be a lot slower. We're going to be dealing with a lot more air resistance, and it's just going to be a chunkier tank of a vehicle probably. But this is definitely where things are going to get interesting, because now I have to figure out how to attach this thing to the outer shell and have it not interfere with itself, because these turning hinges, these are still going to be turning. So this has to be able to happen inside the shell, which means if I'm going to attach and have it make any sense, I need to attach to this part. But as you can see, there are literally no free... Oh, here we go. Here we go. I was worried that there wasn't actually any free attachment points left, but I can do this. So that means the detachable block goes right there. All right, this right here is the beginning of the shell. And now all I have to do is make sure I don't accidentally attach this vehicle anywhere else on the smaller vehicle. All right, things are going okay so far, but it's definitely proving to be a challenge. I just realized I don't know how I'm gonna get this thing to turn. I don't want this to be too massive, but it feels like it's going to be getting there. And I wanted to add more hover pads to this thing for sure. So here, let's see. All right, I think I got an idea. This is gonna be really interesting to see if this works out at all the way that I expect it to. I'm going for some type of like hammerhead design in the front where I'm gonna have 3 hover pads, 1 centered, and then this is gonna curve around to each side. And then there's a steering hinge right here that's gonna cause the whole hammer to shift back and forth. And that's gonna be what kind of motivates the steering of the bigger vehicle. But on top of that, these fins, I think they're gonna have to be sticking out. And these are also gonna continue to steer. Here, let's spawn this in. Yeah, so this is what we're looking at right now. This is actually kind of cool. This might turn into a really awesome vehicle just on its own. All right, I got something. This took a lot longer than I expected it to take, but I got it really aerodynamically sound. I got some dragon thrusters on this thing. There's a hover pad underneath here, and somehow all this stuff I've managed to attach. There was a very limited number of attachment points to do this with. So now I just gotta hope that I can copy this and easily paste it to their side. There we go. So now when I turn, it looks like this. I also had to make sure it didn't collide with itself because I made it too short my first prototype. But this is looking good so far. There's a lot that needs to happen now. I need to have something steering in the back that is not going to interfere with this now. All right, so I built what I think is going to be the back portion of it, and let's see how it functions. This is kind of my first test of it right now. It would take a lot of fine-tuning to make it so that when I turn, it doesn't actually collide with the inner part. You can see how close it is right on the left-hand side. It is very close to colliding. I actually had to adjust some of the smaller hovercraft in order to prevent that from happening and change the degrees of rotation on the front and rear of the big hovercraft from 20 down to 15 degrees. But as you can see, this actually seems to be working pretty well. We go pretty fast on this thing too. All right, so now what I want to do is I want to kind of see if I can try to fill in some of this center area, because right now I just have a skeleton kind of going around this thing, and we're gonna see how that ends up going. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, check it out. Here it is. I've realized that this kind of has a Spider-Man feel to it with the way that I painted the front. And actually what I wanted to do, I almost forgot to redo this. I wanted to make this glowing, so it kind of looks like glowing eyes a little bit. And so what I've done is I've made it appear that it doesn't really collide with itself from the small version to the big version, even though I didn't have to because it didn't register collisions. They would just go through and not really have any impact. But you can see that I have this little slit here, which I think stylistically looks kind of cool. But the smaller craft ends up turning into that slit, which gives it that utility feel to it, even though I didn't actually need it there. And you can see there's a very slight collision on the front one, but I tried my best to make it, you know, just not too obvious, and I don't think it's very obvious. I added a little bit of stylistic stuff to it, and I think it works. Actually, I haven't tested the transformation. I forgot. The whole point of this was to be able to transform and destroy myself and go into the smaller version of it. So let's see how this functions first of all. Okay, something is off here. I might have accidentally made an inconsistency on the hover pads. They might not all be on the same settings. Let me check this out really quick. Okay, this is interesting. I don't know why it was bouncing like that because all of the hover pads are on the same settings. So maybe that was just a fluke. Let's try it again. Get on the water here. Why is the bigger version bouncier? I mean, it should be like heavier, right? That's a little confusing. All right, how about turning? Whoa, okay. This thing turns on a dime almost. This is interesting. All right, it's working so far. This thing looks cool though. All right, well, let's test it out. When I press left shift, I should destroy my entire outer shell and become the smaller one that we built in the beginning, which is contained underneath and inside this one. All right, here we go. And 3, 2, 1, transform. We're going so fast. Uh-oh. This is not how it's supposed to go. No. All right, that seemed pretty successful. I kind of want to do it at a slower speed so we can better see it happen. All right, here we go. And transform. And just like that, we just shed the shell and we have the small version again. Unfortunately, we can't put the shell back necessarily. All right, let's see what the max speed difference is. Does this thing actually go faster than the smaller version? I'm just gonna go straight as fast as I can. I'm really not happy with this bobbing that we do though. I don't know why it does that, but it looks like we've maxed out at 418 kilometers an hour. So will I gain speed or lose speed when I transform? And 3, 2, 1, go. I was not expecting that. We go down to 370, around 370 it looks like. I honestly thought the smaller one, because there's going to be so much less air resistance and so much more consistent thrust, I feel like, I thought it was going to go faster than the bigger one, but the bigger one just has the dragon thruster. What? What? I was going for like 30 seconds without any issue, and then very suddenly I dive into the ground. What is that? And by the ground, I mean water, because I know the difference between ground and water. Okay. All right, before we take this thing on the hovercraft race course, there's something else I want to add to it that I hope is going to be worth it. I want to give this thing air brakes because right now when you're going really fast, there's no convenient way to slow down. So I think converting these things into some air brakes might be really cool. All right, so that shouldn't have changed any of the aerodynamics and it should have allowed us, I hope this works. Let's try it out here. Let's go straight. Now when I press S, I should slow down. That is actually surprisingly effective. All right, let's put this to the test. If I go up to max speed, let's see how fast we slow down if I just let go of the throttle versus how fast we slow down if I use the air brakes. All right, we're about max speed and I'm gonna let go. And you can see we're slowing down a decent amount, but I think it's gonna take us quite a while to actually get down to the point where we'd sink. All right, we got a decent enough feel for that. It took us like 10 seconds to get down to like 150. All right, here we are again, back at max speed and air brakes. And look at that, almost instantly down to 150. All right, that works really, really good. Can I adapt this system to the tiny one too? That would be really nice if I could actually have both of them be kind of mirror versions of themselves. All right, turns out this one isn't quite as simple. I mean, the easy solution, like I did before, would be to move this forward, but then that presents an issue where there actually is a collision since it's now on a steering hinge and it collides. I have not come up with an alternate solution yet. All right, I've done it. I come up with a solution, and before I copy and paste it to the other side, I can show you what I actually did here. So obviously this was colliding when we were turning. So what I've done is I've taken this part, and this part out and essentially compacted it just like this. So now there's just some extra room here. Oh, I also needed to add a connector block here because that doesn't have convenient connection points. So now you can see there's no more collision, and it gives it this more narrow kind of look, which I think I like it better. All right, but I have not done the back yet. Let's hope that this doesn't interfere with how this back section oh man, this is gonna interfere. This is gonna interfere, isn't it? I need to move that forward. And I guess I could keep, oh, that's totally gonna collide now, isn't it? Oh no. Why do I do this to myself? All right, here, let's just see how it does with the front brakes only. All right, if I can survive getting on the water here. All right, and brake. Ooh, it's okay. It's not ideal. All right, I think that's the best I'm gonna get. I cannot add anything to the back without having some major collisions issues. So we're gonna have to leave the back just nice and straight and secure. Okay, so now let's, I don't remember what my time was on the hover course. Where's the hover course? All right, so my time was 43 seconds with the small one. Now, technically, I'm in a different racing league, but I just want to see if this vehicle is going to beat that. All right, here we go. Good start, decent start. All right, hopefully this thing's going to be more stable on the uneven. Okay, that's not a good start. That was not a good start, apparently. All right, I didn't think that just finishing this thing was going to be difficult. I could have had a better start there. This thing definitely has way less acceleration, which makes sense. It has a lot more mass behind it. And man, the steering is very sensitive. Oh boy, this thing is heavy. I could just feel how much heavier this thing is on the water. Okay, come on. Oh, those arrows confuse me so bad. Oh no, I don't like this section. Turn! Oh, don't crash! Oh boy, that was close. Okay, we're good, we're good. We're good, and what's our time? I wasn't even looking at the time. We're what, 35 seconds? Wow. I did not expect this to be that much faster, to be honest. I gotta admit, I'm pretty happy with this so far, and I think I have the perfect place to try to use the actual transform feature. Look at this tiny little cavern right here. We can just make ourselves nice and small, and then we sink because there's nowhere to go in there. It's just a dead end. What is this place? I want to find something like that. I want to find something narrow that it couldn't fit in naturally, and then that'll give me the perfect excuse to actually transform. But that's not it either. All right, I mean, I can kind of fake it here, even though I think I could technically. Look at that. That actually did save me. I would have totally crashed if I didn't do that. But hey, if you ever wanted a really cool looking hovercraft that can't fit in tight spaces, so if you need to, then you go ahead and do a little bit of that. Still wasn't that effective in that particular example, but you know what I mean. Then this is the hovercraft for you. The destructively transforming hovercraft from big thing to small thing. It also kind of looks like Spider-Man. Yeah. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the build. I definitely enjoyed building it, and it actually came out way cooler looking than I was expecting it to, especially the bigger version. If you enjoyed this, you might enjoy some of the other stuff on the channel, so go ahead and check that out on the end screen right here. Hope this video has earned your subscription. Anyway, this has been ScrapMan, and I'll see you next time. Bye.